Check, check, check. Evening guys, welcome to OTL. We are at round 6 this evening. I was racing last week, unfortunately, so I will run through a few bits before we get started. Where is standings for this league? Okay. Season 6. Right. So at the moment, Chris Allen is in first place. Rage is on 96 points. In fact, he's finished on the podium in every race apart from Brazil, where he retired. So he's in pretty good form when he finishes. Rage is second on 84. Clarkie's on 68. In fact, he's been on the podium every race he's been in apart from China, where he retired, and last week around Miami, where he wasn't here. He's on 68. Nelly's on 62 in fourth. Pelly's on 56. Then you've got Matty on 48. He's got a podium this season as well. He sits in 6th. Irish Nude is on 37. He's in 7th. Nick's on 36. Rob's just behind on 31. OTL Dixie Enormous is on 28, down in 10th. Leighton's on 24. Chubby Slug's on 22. Stein's only raced once this season. That was at Bahrain for about a month ago. He's in 13th on 21. He finished second. I believe he might be here as well at some point, joining through quali, possibly. Evening, guys. Evening, Jock. Jock racing tonight. Yeah, he is. Good luck to you, buddy. Stein's on 21 and 13. 14th place is Surjit on 20. So is Silicon Punjab. He's in 15th on 20. Nadim's on 19. Extremist is on 18. Jock finds himself in 17th. Chiv's on 12. Me, because I raced once. I've raced twice actually this season. I'm on 7. So is Chris Stapps down in 21st. And the others I don't think are even here. Williams find themselves top of the constructors with 124 points. Red Bull's on 108. Mercedes in 3rd are on 92. Haas is on 86. Alpha Tauri in 5th and McLaren in 6th are on 79. Ferrari on 59. Aston Martin are on 39. Alpine down in 9th are on 33, and Alfa Romeo are last on 27. And it is absolutely caning it down with rain. I know 2 people who are going to be very excited. Rob is one. Rob loves the rain. Adam's going to love that. I think Adam might be on one of the front 2 rows here. He loves a bit of rain with his full traction. Stein's just trying to... Not racing, I swear. I'm going to have to bring the stream up because it's not actually telling me comments. Oh, you're not looking forward to it? Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, especially now it's raining. Hopefully it dries up for the race for you guys. I think it's about 32 laps. Let's find some of this tyre. It doesn't matter, they're on full wets. It might dry up by the end of quali, but it doesn't look like it at all. Just do an audio check while we're on front of the car. fine. Nick's come out first anyway. See how he gets on in this rain. I found out probably last week actually, or a week before, that he was on pad running no assists, which is unheard of. I think it's not easy to shift up, down, DRS. Obviously you won't need to use it in qualifying, but no line as well. It's a very good effort from him. Sergic's joined as well, so I think we're going to have 17 so far. Stein's just joined, and in fact Nick just outbroke himself. See how he gets on down to turn 1. Quite a few straights on this track as well. A lot of overtaking opportunities under the DRS, if there is in the race itself. Little bit cautious through turns 2 and 3 there, but it wasn't too bad. One of the cars has already gone off. I'm not sure who that was. He's gone slightly deep into the hairpin at the end of sector 1, start of sector 2. Probably gave him a bit of a better run though. I'm glad I wasn't racing tonight. Thank you everyone for joining. Seemed to get pretty good traction coming up that hill though, which is pretty good. He's gone very deep into the chicane there. He hasn't invalidated his lap, but he's probably lost at least half a second. Some of these guys you'll see will just flow through that section of track, but that didn't look great. Last couple of corners wasn't too bad. He had a slight wobble coming off the curb. His lap time's going to be in the 130.8. Nelly's on an invalidated lap. On an out lap. How's Chubby's slug getting on? He's coming into the last 2 corners here. Had a few issues with a few DNFs this season as Chubby, but hopefully he can put together some sort of decent race here. He's on a 127. Yeah, Nick's time was slightly off there, just over, well, it's almost 3 seconds. Leighton's just started. Kristaps is coming to the line. I think he's quite a bit off. Yeah, 135.6. Jocking, is that Matty in front of him though? Matt's going through sector 1. He's going to get a little toe his jock down the last bit of straight. He's done a 128.4. Half a second off of Matt, man. Rod there's done a 129.9. We'll find someone else who's coming into the end of their lap. Sultan Punjab's coming into the end of his lap. 129.1. He's puts himself 3rd at the moment. A couple of cars only just coming out the pit. We've got an Alfa Romeo. I think that's Sergic going onto his lap. Chris is coming into the last couple of corners. We'll keep on with him. And that's Mr. Rage actually is going to the line. We'll look at his time. There's a 129.8 from Mr. Rage. Chris's second sector is probably about a second quicker than some of these guys at the moment. He's going to be in a 127 dead. He's a second, just under a second quicker than that man there in second. It's a very good lap from Chris. Like I said, he's finished on the podium in every race that he's actually finished this season, so he's done very well. Extremist is going to be in a 130 here, I think. 129.4 actually, that's 6/10 off, that's not bad. He puts himself 8th at the moment. Leighton did a 129.5. He slots in number 10 for now. Sergio is the only other person, he's actually the only person who's on the lap now. We've got a couple in the pits still, Pelly and Mikey. And probably flick on with Nelly and Stein as they do their first laps as well. Not great conditions though. It does look pretty rough out there. Matt's done a 1:28.8. That's not too bad. Adams, OTL Dixie Enormous has snuck in there with a 1:28.5 as well, which isn't too bad. He's only a 10th off of third place. Some of these guys might do a couple of laps, trying to just get some, well, hard to get heat in your tyres, but maybe laps 2 and 3 they might get a bit quicker here. Sergeant did a 1:29.2. He slots himself just in front of Rob in 9th place there. And Nelly has just started his lap. And he's had a big wobble coming out of turn 5, just before the hairpin. It doesn't look like it's going to get any better really. We've already had 8 minutes of this and the track's still very wet and it's still absolutely caning it down as well. Who just went there? The Extremist with a 1:29.1. I think that was him. Leighton's moved up there on his second lap there. He did a 1:27.9 joint time with Chubby there, and Rage has done a 1:27.8 as well. So it looks like these guys are finding time through the second or third lap. Some have decided to box after one lap as well. Nelly's just had a slight wobble coming out there. It's going to be a 1:30.8. Finds himself last at the moment, but depending on fuel, I mean, some of these, I mean, he's got over 7 laps of fuel in at the moment. So he's probably got another couple of runs if he wants to. Try and find someone who might be finishing a lap here. Is that Adam coming into the last corner? Yeah, it is. He's up by 10 seconds though, so he's not going to do his lap. Matty is on an invalidated lap. Chris Betts is coming into the line. He's going to find a hell of a lot of time here, probably at least a second. Oh, he found 4/10, that was miles off. He finds himself in 8th though with 1:28.7, just behind his teammate there by a 10th. See how Mikey's getting on. Come out of the pit a little bit later than these guys, but he might run a bit further. He's got a little bit less fuel, but probably enough for 2 or 3 laps if he wanted to. He has got a little bit of traffic, but I think the Alfa Romeo isn't on a lap. That looked a lot better though through the chicane there at the start of sector 3. (1:27.8.7). Finds himself in 11th though. Again, if it's not raining in the race, some of these guys will be using a dry setup, which might push a few back. Looking at Chris's time though at the moment, 8/10 in the lead. That is a very good lap from him. I don't think Rob's on a lap. Nelly is on a lap. We'll find one of the closer drivers. Chris Betts is on an invalidated lap. Nick's on a 3-minute lap. He must have had a few issues there. A 3-minute lap, that's brilliant. Probably just had a few issues. Where is Pelly? Pelly's through sector 1, halfway through sector 2, coming up the hill. .9, yeah, some of these are a second off of Chris at the moment. He was a 58.2, I believe, through sector 2. Pelly might actually be going for another lap though here. He's not using his ERS. Stein's just behind him as well. Pelly there with 129.4. Currently last. I think Rob improved there. Was that Rob? He got in front of Adam there with 128.5. And Jock's now up to 6th with 128.4. Steiner 139. A couple of people are coming to the end. I know Matty is. He's going in the pit. Rob's pretty much level with his time. That wasn't him who improved, actually. It might have been Mikey, because he's gone up to a 128.3. He now finds himself in 5th place. Rob didn't find... No, he only lost out by 200, so he couldn't find that much time there. Nick's up by a 10th. Might move him up 1 place. In fact, he lost a lot of time coming out that last sector. Late in a 59.9 through sector 2. He found... It says he found 1.6 seconds there. But he's still behind Mr. Rage. I don't think that's correct. Pelly was on the lap, wasn't he? So he'll be coming to the end of his lap now. He's going sideways, going into the last corner. Had to completely let off, but I think he'll find a little bit of time here anyway. He found 1.2, so he's put himself 6th. If he hadn't have lost maybe 3 or 4 tenths in that last corner, he would have found himself on the 2nd row here. So he's definitely got some time in his lap. Ferrari and a Haas. Mikey didn't improve. Some of these guys probably saving some ERS as well. Is Rob going to find some time here? He might find it. No, he didn't. He's still going round though. He has now got low fuel and a good bit of battery to use on one more run. Sergit finds himself up almost by a 10th. Halfway through sector 2. Kristaps is in a wall. Nelly's coming to the line. See how he gets... Oh, he's on a 2-minute lap. Some of these guys are just saving some battery and going for another run. I can understand why. That's Silicon coming into the last corner. He found a 10th. 128.6 moves him up in front of Sergit there, and Chris has just done a 126.8. Jock there with a 127.5. He finds himself in 2nd place. That's a good lap from him there. But Chris again, he's got a 7/10 buffer back to 2nd place at the moment. I don't know how many people can challenge that time. I mean, Mr. Rage isn't on a lap. Leighton's just started one as well. Nick's having a few issues as well through sector 2, start of sector 3. Rob's definitely found some time this time. Like I said, he's found a 10th and a half, almost 2 tenths, puts himself 9th. 128.3. At the moment, there's a massive gaps on the leaderboard through quali at the moment. With 2.5 minutes left, anyone in the pit might want to get out. Stein and Kristaps find himself in there. Chubby Slug's on an outlap. Mr. Rage has invalidated his lap. He was up by 2.5 tenths there. Jock won't be on a lap now. Adam's on an invalidated lap. Anyone coming to the end of their laps? Alfa Romeo is, that should be Sergio. It's up a 10th and a half at the moment. Might find a bit of time here. If he can find a couple of tenths, he'll move him up to the top 10, maybe 11th here. Yeah, it's putting 10th at the moment. He's got enough time for one more lap, but he doesn't have any battery. 138. He might actually be able to save a bit of battery and go for one more run if he's got a bit of fuel here. One of the Red Bulls. Adam's on another invalidated lap. Someone was in a wall there as well. Mr. Rage is on an invalidated lap. There's a Haas behind him, the extremist. He's moved up now to 9th with a 1:28.1. And at the moment, Matty finds himself at the back here. He is coming into sector 3 though, so you know he's on another invalidated lap. He's gonna just have enough time for one more. There's a few people behind him who probably are going to get one more run as well. Nelly's found a hell of a lot of time, 1.1 seconds there. Finds himself second with a 1:27.3. Mikey's moved up to a 1:27.5 in third, just in front of Jock there by 4 thousandths. Everyone now on track as well. Chris is up by another 10th. See if he can get it down. It's a 1:26.6, and I think that is Chris's qualifying done, so he's got a good 7 tenths to Nelly there in second, but all these guys now will be on their last run. Matt Mann's on an invalidated, Mikey's boxed, and so is Leighton, so they will not be improving their laps. See if Rage is up coming into the last corner as well. Nick's retired back in 9th, and Rage wasn't going to improve there, and just did a little pirouette. Pelly's in a wall quite violently. Rob's just found a little bit of time there, 1:27.9. That moves him up a couple of places. Jock's up by a 10th and a half here. He could find himself. Oh, Adam's done a 1:27.3. I thought he'd be on the second row in this. This could be quick from Jock. He's found himself now on the second row with a 1:27.4. Nelly's boxed. I don't think Chris is on a lap, so we'll flick to the guys at the back. Silicon's on an invalidated lap. Chris up to his 10th now with a 1:27.8. He found 6 tenths. Stein's on the invalidated lap, so the only person who can improve here is Sergit. He needs to find at least, well, if he finds 4 tenths, he can find himself in 10th place. But he needs at least 2.5 to move up 1. Slightly off track, but the game decided to allow him to have that. It's going to be a 1:28.1 from him. I didn't see where he moved. Oh, he stayed at P14, I think it says on his, yeah, P14. Well, that's qualifying finished anyway. Great lap from Chris there. It's very dominant. That is 7.5 tenths in front of Nelly in second, closely followed 5 thousandths behind by Adam, and Jock is in 4th. Mikey's there in 5th. Mr. Rage is 6th. Leighton 7th. Rob finds himself down in 8th. Chubby Slug 9th. Christap's 10th. Pelly 11th. Nick is 12th. Extremist 13th. Sergit 14th. Stein 15th. Silicon is 16th, and Matty is 17th. Apart from first place, I mean, well, the second pretty much covers second to 14th, 15th. I would think Stein has a bit of pace in that lap as well. But hopefully it will be dry for the race. But if Chris did have a dry setup on and it is going to be dry and he's done that time, then I can see he might run away with this. I did have a feeling though that Adam would be on that second row with his lovely traction he's got. Jock's going to go backwards. You might be alright. Oh no, it's not dry. Oh dear, it looks full wets as well. Yeah, I can see, if this stays like this, I can see Chris running away with this. If he can just concentrate for the first probably 2 or 3 laps, he could find himself a good 2.5 in the lead. Get out that toe as well. People behind him will be battling. But with the rain like this, penalties will probably stay down, and It's going to be quite hard actually for these guys, I think. I wouldn't be enjoying it. I'm glad I'm in this box. It's lovely and dry. I mean, we had a full wet race on in Australia yesterday, and that was horrible. There is a formation lap, I believe. Yes, there is. Adam in third. It's not a bad little effort from Adam there. Plus, he likes the rain this season, so he might even find himself near a podium here. Same with Jock, though. I mean, that was a good effort to get into fourth. Pretty much level time with Adam and Nelly, so it's going to be an interesting one for these guys. I think as long as they keep their wing for a couple of laps, find some space, wets to wets, or wet, wet, wet. So it looks like it's going to be a full wet race. Well, the AI didn't want any intermediate. There's a massive gap actually back to the milk. I think that's Pelly. He might be in AI mode, or he's just struggling to keep up. We'll see if some of these from the back as well. Like I said, Stein, Matty might even come through from the back. Extremist had a pretty decent race last week. He had some good pace around Miami as well, so I can see some of these guys trying to get through at some point. Matt, man, he hasn't really liked the rain this season, neither's Rob, and they find themselves in the top 10, so they're ones to look out to see if they can maintain a position here. Everyone's starting to line up though, so we will be going very shortly. Obviously, we aren't going to get much heat in these tyres, so the start. Oh, Rob's lost it slightly, almost. Good effort to get back to your box though, mate. Oh dear. Didn't realise I was on mute. Brilliant. We'll go with lap 2 again. There is a VSC, not a safety car. I wonder how long I was on mute for. We'll just go through what I literally just said again. Then Chris finds himself in first by at least 3.5, 4 seconds. Jock moved up 2. Nelly lost out on 1 place just to his teammate. Mikey's up 1. Adam only lost out on 2. I think he'll be pretty happy with that anyway. Someone's boxed. Mr. Rage, maybe he had wing damage, or is he going to flick? We'll have a look actually. He might be flicking on an inter. No, he's got full wet on and he's changing his wing, so he did have wing damage. So Adam only lost out on 2 places. He'll be happy with that. Leighton's moved up 1. Chubby Slug is up 2 positions and Pelly's up 3. Nelly's got a drive-through penalty. In fact, 3 people have a drive-through penalty. We'll find out who they are. Yeah, it was. It's Adam, Leighton and Nelly, all with a 3-second time penalty there. Not 3-second time penalty. They got a drive-through, so that's going to really hurt them. Mikey's going to find himself in 3rd place, and Chubby Slug's going to move up to 4th after they box. That's very unfortunate. 3 people getting a drive-through though isn't good news at the moment. Pelly's up 3 anyway in 8th. Rob's only lost out on 1 position, so I think he'll be pretty happy. He's got a 2.5 second gap back to Chris Stats, who's found himself back where he started. He struggled at the beginning. He went slightly off track, and he's back now up into 10th. Sergit's up 3. He's in 11th. Nick stayed where he was. He had contact with someone coming out of one of the corners, which didn't help him. I don't think there was much. The car in front just lost it a bit. I don't think there's much anything could have been done. Matty finds himself up 4 in 13th. Extremist has lost a place. 2 people. Rob's boxed. Couple of people boxing here. Leighton and Adam had a drive-through. Nelly stayed out for a lap. I'll see if Rob needs a new wing. Rob's going for inters. Rob's already switched to the intermediate tyre, so he's done a Luke from yesterday. He boxed very early. It might work out for him actually. We'll have to see. Obviously, Leighton and Adam find themselves at the back, more or less. Apart from Rage, he did box the lap before. He's still on wet tyres though. He did not want to go on to the inters. In a couple of laps, we'll see how Rob gets on. Let him warm his tyres up for a lap or 2. But Chris, he is literally running away with this at the moment. 4.8 seconds. Jock's doing very well in 2nd at the moment because he's got a 2nd gap on his teammate. Mikey's 2.2 back as well, and so is Chubby Slug. Pelly's within the 2nd. The closest person who's battling at the moment is that Matty, Extremist and Nick battle for 9th place. But Pelly's up 5 already. Sergit finds himself up now 6. Matt's already come from the back and he's in the top 10. And Chris Allen's boxed, so he's probably going to flick on and into here as well. Nelly's going to box, but he is a drive-through, so he's going to go straight through. That might upset his time. Pelly's also boxed. A few of these are going to flick on the inters. We'll go to tyre and have a look. Yeah, Chris has gone for the inter, so's Pelly. Everyone's boxing now. So it is drying up. It's quite early on as well. There's still 28 laps of this. 26 laps of this, so we might get a little bit of dry weather here towards the end. Where did Chris come out? Chris came out in 6th, and he's got a nice 3-second gap in front of him. Nelly, who stayed on that wet tyre, might drop out, but he only finds himself in 7th after that, which isn't too bad. But he is on that wet tyre. We'll just see how much time he loses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Extremist has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. The first one actually down in 13th there. And that battle with some of these guys, I thought it was Matty, Nick and the Extremist, seems to have kind of disappeared. Nick lost a couple of places there as well. But Chris being in 6th on that inter, I think he's found a lot of time on silicon there. He is 8.6 seconds back at the moment from Chris Stats, the car in front. And Jock stayed out, so did Mikey, so's Mataman, he stayed out as well. And so did Kristaps, they've all stayed out on that wet tyre. Chris is going to get a run past Silicon here going down the straight. He's going to have the inside line going in turn 1, but I think Silicon's straight line speed seems to be better than Chris's here. Chris has made a big move up the inside though, and that's a very good overtake. And Nelly's had to box after his drive-through. We'll see if Chris can catch up to Kristaps there as well. He was finding a second per lap on people. Matty's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He was on inters as well, so... Oh, he's having a wing change. He's getting his wing change, so he's going to find himself at the back now by quite a distance as well. Jock's coming under all sort of pressure from Mikey here. His tyres, these wet tyres, I don't think they're going to last too much longer. A couple of these might run, I mean, it looks like it's slowing up quite quickly. It's only been another couple of laps since some of the guys put inters on. In fact, Jock's going to box now. Mikey's carrying on. Chubby Slug's boxed as well. I wonder what Kristaps is going to carry on as well, but he's lost a good 4-5 tenths to Chris here. And Jock was in second when Chris boxed, so he's lost out on a lot of time. He was 4 seconds behind. Silicon stayed out as well. Leighton's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Everyone's on inters now, apart from the two at the front and Silicon, they find themselves just behind. Mikey at the moment, he's got a 7.2 second lead. Chris is just eating time off of these guys at the front on wets though. I mean, Jock was 4 seconds behind Chris, maybe pushing 5. He now finds himself 13 behind him. So extra couple of laps on those wet tyres, and he lost an absolute mad load of time there. Nick's pretty much the closest battler. He's caught back up with Extremist. Finds himself only 6 tenths behind. Sit on with these two for a while until other people get closer. I think those wet tyres, yeah, they're going to box. Mikey's boxed anyway. I think Kristaps will as well, because Chris had taken almost a second out of those guys in that last sector. Kristaps has stayed out. He's going to carry on. 1:27.2 from Chris at the moment. Fastest lap. Nick had a massive wobble there, and he's fallen second behind now as well. Silicon stayed out on his wet tyres. Some of these are, maybe they're going straight to dries. I mean, if you think of Kristaps, he started, he's up 9 positions. Silicon's up 13. They've got a big gap back to Chubby and Mikey, who were side by side going through turn 1. Mikey has just come out the pit, so Pelly's probably going to try and make a move at some point, possibly coming out of the hairpin if he can get better traction on those worn tyres. Mikey hasn't used one piece of ERS though, so he's saving his battery very, very well. But it is starting to dry up slightly, a little bit of cloud break. Rob's not doing too bad either. He's only 2.1 off this fight in front with Pelly, Mikey. So if they have a little couple of corners battling, he'll find himself back up with them for a fight for 6th. Chris is taking a lot of time out of Kristaps there as well. Kristaps has carried on. I mean, if Kristaps is going for a dry tyre, he's going to lose a bit of time doing it, but it puts him in a good, decent enough position. Same with Silicon, really. He carried on going through as well. Jock's only 4.4 behind. He's catching up very fast. And Mikey stayed in front while his tyres were warming up on that outlap as well. Pelly just finds himself just behind 6/10. There is a close battle actually between Nick and Nelly. Nelly had that drive through as well. So did Adam, and so did Leighton. That's why they probably find themselves at the back there, down 10, 10 and 7. Mr. Rage had to get a new wing quite early on, and he put a wet tyre on. Next lap went for a intermediate. So these guys are definitely going to catch up throughout this race. But the two Red Bulls at the moment, Rage and Leighton, they're having a pretty decent battle here. We will flick back to the front though, because I think Chris is just about to overtake Kristaps for the lead down the straight. You can see Kristaps didn't get any run at all coming out of that last corner, but the straight line speed of that Alfa Romeo is pulling himself away from Chris. Chris might get stuck here. He might have to make a move through a corner somewhere. He just lost about 5/6 down that straight, and then makes pretty much half a second back up through the corners. So Chris does not have any battery though. Kristaps is on 10% as well. Silicon's still in third, which isn't too bad for him. Chris has made a move up the inside there, going into the hairpin. I thought it'd be into a corner because the straight line speed of Kristaps' car down that main straight just kept him in front. Chris needed to make the move. I mean, he's got a massive gap back to potential second in Jock. Jock's going to get past Silicon here as well. He's going to have the inside line going into the left-hander. You can just get on the brakes so much later on that enter, and you see OTL Chubby Slug almost made up 2 positions there. Jock had to slightly break out, but Mattman snuck through on Silicon and almost had enough pace to get past Jock there. Chubby Slug does have a bit better run coming out of corner. Well, not that one, but he has a bit more straight line speed, and I thought he was going to make a move on Jock, but he's probably just going to wait until the straight. Chris Allen now 26-0. There's a yellow flag. That's insect. Is that Adam? It may have been either Adam or Rage, but they find themselves pretty close together now as well. Mattman couldn't get Jock in the straight there. Jock's got 0% battery though, so I think Mattman's going to absolutely fly past. Oh, he almost hit the back of him. And then I think Jock's given him the position. Just, I'm not sure why really. It was Mattman. I think it was Mattman's fault for not moving out, but Jock's given the position up anyway. He might be all right with that just to sit behind. I think he'll be very happy that he finds himself in 4th anyway. Pelly's going to send one here on Silicon going into the hairpin. He is really struggling on that wet tyre now. Rob's just on the back of these guys as well, 7/10 behind. Jock's got a little gap there to second to Mikey, but Mikey's taking out a little bit of time. And Silicon's snapped mad, and he's gone on the inside, and Rob just breezes around the outside of him. Mattman has taken 2 seconds out of Kristaps as well in the last 2.5 sectors. So I don't know how much longer Kristaps can stay on that wet tyre for, but he will box at some point, and if he does flick on and into here, at least he could probably go to the end. 19 laps remaining. These guys who are on their on the inters, they boxed, I believe, lap 6. Or some of them did. Chubby Slug and Jock are on a 4-lap hold, and Mikey's on 3. Chris finds himself on a 7-lap intermediate. I think some of these guys probably will rebox, but it does look like it might actually lighten up completely towards the end. Kristaps still has an 11-second lead over Chubby there in second. And everyone else is pretty much, apart from this battle, Mikey's just more or less joined it. The only other battle we have is Adam and Mr. Rage. And Mr. Rage couldn't get past him down that straight, so he's going to sit behind him. Adam is catching Nick though here. He's had a slight wobble there, but maintained a bit of pace coming through there. Matt's having a lonely race at the moment at the back. He finds himself 21 seconds behind. That wing change, he does have a 5-second penalty as well. Leighton's got an 8-second penalty. I think both of theirs will come off when they rebox. That'll leave Leighton, Mr. Rage and Extremist the only ones with a 3-second time penalty at the moment. And Chris has just taken another half a second out of his fastest lap. He's now got an 11.5-second lead over Kristaps. Chubby Slug's taking a lot of time out of Kristaps again that lap. I think he's still happy to go around though on his wet tyres. He is losing chunks of time per lap to the drivers behind, but it definitely is drying up. You can start to see the line where people are driving now as well. But if he can take it straight to dry tyres, he might not lose too many positions here. He'll have to do it within the next, I think, maybe 4 laps, he'll hope, because Chubby is catching him at roughly about 1 second to 2 seconds a lap. Just through the corners, you can see just there he's taken 4/10 out of him just through that top sector. Another 4/10 through those corners as well. In fact, that was 6. Silicon's getting eaten up on his wets as well. He's going to find himself probably in the next 3 or 4 laps behind Nick Rage and Adam down in 14th. Mikey's getting very close to Jock here. Jock's just moved off of Matman there slightly, another couple of tenths, but Mikey's doing well to keep within that time gap as well. Mikey's just found about 4/10 on Jock down that straight, and Jock lost out 4/10 to Mataman, so some of these guys' wing levels are going to be a lot lower. There's a yellow flag, guys, sector 3, that's Nick. Nick's going round. He had an issue going into that second last corner, I don't know. There might have been contact actually with Mr. Rage, because they've both slowed down. I think Rage is going to let him back through. And Nelly's going to go around the outside of Silicon here. He already lost 3 seconds off of Nelly there. He's got Adam 10 seconds back there, so they might have had a little bit of a collision with maybe 2 or 3 of them there. But Leighton caught up 4 seconds to Adam. Nick might have a slight problem here. Rage just flew past him, and Chris has taken another couple of tenths. Well, yeah, another couple of tenths off his fastest lap. He almost finds himself a pit stop in front of Kristaps here. I think the pit here is only 23, maybe 20. I'm not sure. Oh, a big snap from Chris. He managed to hold it though. Like I said, he's got a 22-second lead back to Mataman in 3rd there. He doesn't need to do anything stupid here. He can save a bit of battery. We're halfway through this race as well. And it looked like Kristaps had a big snap there as well. In fact, Chubby's caught him by about 4 to 6 seconds in the last lap. So I think, and there's only another couple of seconds back to Jock, Mikey and Pelly. Silicon just lost out in 2 places there. He's going to box. He's had enough of the... he's put on a medium tyre as well. That might be slightly a bit early. But I don't think he really had a choice. He's going to find himself just in front of Matt, I think, by the end of all this. Chubby Slug did get past Kristaps there. Matty's got another 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so he's going to get rid of 5, and he's going to keep 5. Jock and Kristaps. Jock's got past Kristaps now, so Kristaps knows he needs to box this lap, I think. He's losing. He does not want to sit too far back. You can see the difference in tyres. Mikey's probably going to make a move up the inside. He can brake a lot later on that intermediate, and he gets past him pretty quickly. Yeah, Chris's gap back to Chubby there was 21 seconds. We'll see if Kristaps is going to box. He's going to have to flick on a medium tyre here as well, I think. He stopped very early for the line as well. He might have lost about a second and a half there as well to some people. Matty's also going for a medium. And so's Kristaps. We'll see how these guys get on. Kristaps might find himself in front of Adam and Leighton here. It's going to be very close as they come out the pit. In fact, those two are going to fly past. Rage is now on a 1:24.6. He's been released from Adam. Where is Rage? Oh, he fell. Oh yeah, he had a contact with Nick, so he lost out. But he's driving very well at the moment. There's a yellow flag, sector 1. That is one of the. That's Matt. Matt's backwards. Matty's backwards. I'm not sure if he has wing damage. He can't really move until now, which is pretty decent of him. That medium tire obviously not great at the moment. Mr. Rage has absolutely flown past Kristaps on that medium as well. In fact, Kristaps is already 3.5 seconds. He should have boxed for inters when some of these other guys did, because he might even find himself behind Nick. Oh, someone's ghosted there. That would be Matt. And he's going straight on, I think, just to get out of the way of these two who are battling. Leighton clips the back of Adam there. Trying to get past. Matty is struggling. He's all over the grass. I think he's just trying to keep out the way of these guys, which is pretty fair on him. Nick's now got past Kristaps as well, so that medium is not working at the moment. Silicon's thrown on a hard tyre. He struggled on the medium and now he's got on a hard. Matty stayed out though. He finds himself oh, he's been lapped, hasn't he? A couple of these guys have been lapped. Matty's really struggling and he can't even turn. And he's really struggling. Kristaps is reboxed. I'm not sure if he's got any wing damage here, or if he's just going to go back onto an inter because of the amount of time he's lost. Chris is doing 1:24.0s. Yeah, Kristaps is throwing back on an inter. Was not the right time for that medium. Although I feel in about 3 or 4 laps time it might be. Some of these guys, I mean, Chris has got 22-second lead. Matty's got a 3-second time penalty as well for multiple warnings. Matterman picked one up as well. In fact, he's got 3 seconds. Extremist is on 3. Leighton will get rid of 5 of his, so he'll only be on 3. And Mr. Rage has 3. Matty back there on 18, but he's just slightly struggled around here tonight. And he's just got another one. 2 in a lap. That's impressive. Chris goes slightly wide there. He's just picked up his first 3-second time penalty as well. Someone's round. Is that Nelly? Nelly boxed, actually. He's gone in the pit. Nelly's gone for a medium, so maybe he feels it's the right time now. He's going to have a nice bit of gap in front of him if he can stay in front of Nick. We will keep an eye out on that. Pelly's moved up as well, just behind Mikey. Rob finds himself in 6th place, which is pretty decent. I think he'll be happy with that. He's got a massive gap back to Sergey of 7 seconds, so I don't think he'll be too worried. He might even be able to pass a couple of these guys as well. I do feel like that Jock's slightly struggling as well. He seems to be losing quite a bit of time to some of these guys. He's now 3 seconds off of Matterman as well. Pelly's boxed, so he's got out this battle. He's probably going to flick on a medium as well. Yep, he's got a medium compound. And Mikey did get past Jock there. And you see Matty just going sideways there for his front end. And he's going round and he's in the wall. He was on a soft as well, so he couldn't even get any grip with that tyre. Might be a little bit early for some of these guys who have put on this medium. Pelly and Nelly both on mediums. Leighton and Adam have both boxed now. They'll be flicking on, wow, pure white screen. Leighton got rid of his 5-second time penalty and put on a medium. Adams now on a medium as well. I don't know if it's slightly too early though. We'll keep an eye on Pelly over the extremist. He's losing quite a bit of time at the moment. So on 17 point, it's gone up to 18 through the corner, 18.1, 18.2. He's lost half a second coming out of the hairpin. And Mr. Ray just fired up the inside of him on and into. We'll see if Pelly can at least stay with him for the end of this lap. And Chris is boxed for softs. So Chris is pit. He will probably be in front of some of these guys. Everyone's boxed apart from Mikey. Mikey's stayed out. Mikey's going to lead this race over Chris at the moment. Chris is going to try and do 12 laps on a soft. It's going to be a good effort if he can do that. In fact, everyone's boxing for mediums. Although Pelly's lost a second and a half to Rage there already, it does look like it's time for the mediums. Mr. Rage has just boxed. Yeah, everyone's going to box now. Kristaps will probably find himself boxing as well. Sergit's coming out the pit in 7th place. Rob's now up to 5th. He's just behind Jock there. Pelly lost a place to Rob for boxing that lap early. He finds himself 2 seconds behind him, so maybe it was 1 lap slightly too early for some of these guys. Silicon's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I think that's his first. Yeah, it is. Now everyone's on that dry tyre apart from Kristaps, who's just boxed. I think Mikey will be boxing this lap. He's lost a lot of time to Chris there at the end of that lap. He has got a 25-second gap back to Chubby, so I think he'll pretty much be neck and neck just in front. He's put on a soft as well. So even if he does find himself behind Chubby here, he's going to have the quicker time on that tyre. It's a good job from the Ferraris today, actually sitting in 2nd and 3rd. And Chubby is going to fly past Mikey. Jock might be close enough for DRS. I'm surprised it isn't active yet. Pelly's flown past Rob there for 5th place down the straight. Mikey only finds himself 2.4 behind Chubby here. Chubby does have a 3-second time penalty. And Adams just put fastest lap in at the moment. 1:21.5. I think Adam's on a medium as well. Adam went for a medium. Rage, Mikey, Chris and Matty are the only ones on a soft compound. Silicon's still on his hards, but he did box a while ago. And Matty picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 19 seconds. Chris Allen a 1:20.5, 24 and a half, 25 seconds in the lead. 10 laps to go at the end of this one for him. Leighton's picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. That's put him on 6th, but I think he'll be alright. He's got a 15-second gap back to Nick. And Chubby fastest lap at the moment, a 1:19.9. And then Pelly with a 1:19.3. So the medium guys find themselves with a bit of pace there at the moment. Pelly was very close to Jock. Rob's just fallen off of these guys at the moment. 1.3 back. But like I said, I think he'll be pretty happy with where he is in 6th. He's got a 6.5, 7-second gap back to Sergit there in 7th. Who's had a pretty decent race so far as well. Most people have stopped twice. Rage has stopped 3 times, so has Kristaps. Matty stopped 5 times and he's back in the pits now. Nick on a 1:18.6. He is trying to catch some of these guys very quickly. And Rage on Adam there, he went slightly wide through the hairpin, but he's going to have a better run coming up to the left-hander here. He's going to have to sit in just behind him for now. He'll keep that on tyre. Pelly's got past Jock there. DRS has been activated anyway. You can see Extremist has got it here on Surgit. This will help Rob with his gap as well. Extremist just went in slightly too much there, and the back end just ripped round on him. He's going to lose out. Extremist might be able to get away within that second gap before Rage and Adam there going side by side into turn 1. Adam won't give that place up very easily. That's for a top 10 as well. Rage does have a time penalty, so if Adam can try and stick with him at least for a couple of laps, and hopefully those mediums will come into play towards the end. He does lose a lot of time though coming out of the corners at the moment. Chris isn't losing too much time. In fact, I don't think he's losing much time at all to Chubby and Chubby here. He might do towards the end of the race, but with 8 laps left, I don't think he'll be very worried at all. And that man's coming up to, I believe that's Chris Stats. Yeah, it is. Chris Stats in 14th. Chris is almost up to Nick as well in 13th. Mr. Rage 118.2, fastest lap. He has moved over a second, 1.5 seconds after overtaking Adam within the last 2 sectors there. So that soft tyre does have a massive difference, but at the moment Chubby's holding off Mikey's time there, still 3.2 seconds. All Mikey needs to try and really do is get that within 3 by the end, and he'll find himself second. Matty's picked up another 3-second time penalty. He's on 22. 22. It's a good effort. 17. He's gonna have, that's strange. I don't think that really works out. Chubby's gonna enjoy a bit of DRS here off Chris Stapps. That'll pull him a couple of tenths, 3 tenths further away from Mikey there. In fact, if Chris Stapps can stay in front of Chubby, I don't think he'll mind following him for a couple of DRS zones. Chris has lost 2 seconds out the front, but I think he's just vibing at this moment. He's got a 20.8 second lead. He doesn't need to do anything stupid. Mr. Rage, another fastest lap, 118.2. He's dropped Adam by 3.5 seconds now. He might even be able to catch Nelly, but he does have that time penalty. Extremist and Surgit. Oh, there's contact between both of them, and they both come off track. Surgit is out. That might even be it is a safety car. Safety car, so I can see most of the medium people boxing. Extremist and Surgit there got caught up into turn 4 and 5. Both went on the gravel, and Surgit ended up in the wall, and Extremist got spun round. So that changes things, especially with Mikey and Pelly sitting in 3rd and Robin in 6th without a penalty. The field spread is huge, so I would think there's at least going to be, well, most of these are going to box anyway for softs. Chris boxed for a fresh set of softs. Mikey stayed out. That might hurt him towards the end of this race. Pelly stayed out on a medium. He wants track position. Chris Stapps is disqualified for ignoring yellow flags. Jock's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's not good. Does that put him on 6 now? That puts him on 6, so I mean this safety car could be out for 4 laps. Look where Silicon and Matt are. they're going through the same sector as the safety car is, so this could be out for at least 3 or 4 laps. There will only be about 5 laps left of racing. It might hurt Chris by the end of this, but I think he'll be pretty happy that Mikey and Pelly stayed out. Mikey being on a 5 lap old soft. Pelly and Jock stayed out on their mediums. Pelly's gone miles off track. In fact, he's let Jock through. Or it looked like he let Jock through. I think the game probably won't let Pelly back through there, but Pelly went miles off track and Jock snuck up past him, so everyone's going to bunch up now. Mikey finds himself in second, like I said, but he's on a very worn soft tyre. It might hurt him towards the end of this. Jock and Pelly being on mediums, that might hurt him. Chubby Slug's got a fresh soft there. Matty's got another 3-second tyre. He's going to be close to being disqualified here. He's up to 28 seconds. I think he got rid of his time penalties though, so he's literally one away from being disqualified, and he's going to have 5 racing laps. Mr. Rage's boxed. He wanted a fresh soft as well. The extremist probably will get past him. Yes, he will. But he'll find himself right on Adam and Leighton as well. Adam will catch back up. So will Leighton. So those 3 are going to continue battling at the end of this race. Everyone's now on a soft apart from Jock and Pelly. Pelly does not have a time penalty though, and neither does Mikey. And we saw how slow Chris's straight line speed was, trying to get past Punjab and people like that. So Mikey could find himself in a great place to finish first here if he can just try and peel away from Jock. But he's got to worry about probably Matman and Rob. Matman's got a time penalty though, so Rob could find himself on a podium here if he can try and get past these guys on that worn tyre. Silicon stayed on hards. He's found himself in 13th, but he is in the mix of the drivers. I don't know if he's going to box just to try and get out of the way of who's behind him. He's in the Aston. So that's the Haas. So Extremist in 8th. Extremist is not going to have a great restart here with 13th place just in front of him. But it will give some of these guys a pretty decent run. Like I said, Rage, Adam and Leighton, they were battling for most of this race anyway. It's going to bring Nick back into it as well. Matty is struggling. In fact, he's spun the car as well, coming out the second last corner. And he's going to box. Hopefully he won't pick up a 5-second penalty. No, he pretty much stopped way before the line. He's going to flick on a fresh pair of softs. I can see the safety car doing, I think, 1 more lap after this. I think it's done 3. In fact, that won't leave 5 laps, will it? It'll leave like, well, if it comes in this lap, it leaves 3. If it stays out this lap and comes in the following lap, that'll leave 2. And that's going to help Mikey. Definitely will help Mikey. It's going to help Rob as well. Keep these guys as bunched up as they can. But after dominating literally the entire race, Chris might find himself, back in 2nd or 3rd here. I don't know if the safety car's coming in this lap. Yeah, it's coming in this lap. Bit late call. Well, he's got a straight and a half. He just needs a good start. I think he'll be all right. Like I said, Mikey's back on a 7-lap-old soft. 2 guys behind him are on mediums. They've been on them for 8 and 9 laps. Chubby's got a penalty as well, so Nelly could find himself moving up a couple of places as well. They just need to try and get past some of these worn tyre people. And Chris is gone. He let the safety car go, and he's gone. He's already got a second on Mikey, even before the last corner, and he's got full battery. So he's just going to pull himself away down here. He needs to try and crack out 3 seconds within the next 2 laps. 3 laps. We've got 3 laps left. You can see that straight line speed. He lost 6/10 going down that main straight to Mikey there, but then gains another half a second back through turns 1 and 2. No one made any moves, I don't believe, going into there. Rob lost out in a second to Matman on that restart, and he's got Nelly all over the back of him. These two without penalties might move up a bit. Matty's got another side. Matty's got a 10-second time penalty. I think he's been disqualified. Or it says DNF, so he hasn't finished. He's in a wall, actually. He's possibly in a wall. He's had a horrible time tonight. He just couldn't get the power down. OTL Chubby Slug's going to make a move past Pelly here. Pelly's going to have the inside line. Pelly's going to try and cut back for the inside. I don't think he's going to get the move done, though. Matman on that fresh soft is going to pull away. See if Rob can make a move down this straight. Extremist and Mr. Rage are going side by side through the last couple of corners. Oh, and Mr. Extremist caught curb, and he's gone round right in front of Mr. Rage, which has pushed a couple of these guys further back up. Pelly's going to make a move on Chubby again. He's got a lot of straight line speed there. And he's made the move stick as well. Oh, and he's going round. Pelly's going round. There was not contact. And at the moment, Rob's going to finish third in here. He's only 2 seconds behind Jock. And the 2 drivers in front of him. Jock's got 6 seconds, so that's going to hurt him. If he can stay within 3 seconds of Chubby here, he's going to definitely get a podium. Mikey's 2.2 off of Chris. Chris has a lap and a quarter, lap and a half really, to pull out another 6/10. Adam's got a 3-second time penalty. That moves him on to 3, so he's at the moment only going to lose out 1 place to Nick. What a last couple of laps, really. A couple of people have DNF. Some people put the power down a bit too early. Rage gets past his teammate there. Like I said, these guys have been battling all the way through pretty much, apart from the drive-throughs. Nelly might make a move on Rob if he can. He's only 3/10 behind. Rob's out of battery completely. Jock and Chubby Slug have changed positions. We'll see if Nelly's making a move. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 1 here. He's made the move stick. This is for... this will be for 3rd place as well. Rob will have the DRS going into the last sector though. And Mikey's doing pretty good things because he's doing as much as he can to keep within this time gap of 3 seconds. It's 2.6 at the moment. Chris has just picked up another one, so he's going to actually lose out on first here. I think he might actually lose out on second as well. I'm not sure. 2, 3, 4.5, 5. He could lose out to Nelly. Nelly could take second here in the end. The Extremist just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's now back on 6th as well. So that late safety car has definitely hurt Chris. He was 20-odd seconds in front. He pretty much had the race won. He's going to finish. Mikey's going to overtake him for second. Rob couldn't get back. Rob might get back on Nelly. The line's not too far. Rob's going to take 4th. Nelly's going to take that 3rd spot. 3/10 to Chris. Chris almost lost out in a couple of positions there. Rob will take 4th. Chubby Slug with his time penalties goes to 5th. Nick does very well in the end. He moves up to 6th. Jock lost out in a few. He moves to 7th. Rage came back to 8th. OTL Dixie Enormous will finish 9th. Leighton's down in 10th. The Extremist is in 11th. And Silicon is in 12th. In fact, Silicon hasn't finished yet. So I don't know if he had a few issues during that safety car, but an end to a race which I think Chris definitely did not want, and to pick up that extra time penalty, hurting quite a bit. Driver of the day from the game, Nick. I know who mine's going to anyway, so it won't matter. I'm going to get 3 people into the comms box after I do the end of this. But Mikey wins in the end. He stayed out on that worn soft tyre, and he kept within that gap time of Chris, who got another. He ended up with 6 seconds. He was lucky not to lose a couple of places there. But Mikey wins then. Chris is second. Nelly found third in the end, just over Rob. He overtook him in the penultimate lap and managed to stay in front of him. Chubby Slug lost out because of his time penalty down in 5th. Nick was 6th. Jock was 7th. His time penalty kind of ruined him as well. He probably would have been up in around 4th. Rage was 8th. Adam was 9th. Leighton 10th. Extremist 11th. Silicon was a lap down in 12th. Pelly, he got classified in 13th, 2 laps down. Matt DNF, but he has 38 seconds of time penalties. That is probably a record. Serge at DNF'd. He got kind of caught up with Extremist, and he was in a wall. Kristaps DNF'd and Stein DNF'd as well. I will get in the 3 podium people. Mikey, Chris and Nelly. Yeah, that drive-through killed 3 of you. It really did. It made you stay on that wet tyre as well when you needed to go to the Inter. Let's try and get people in it. I'm not sure. Most of these should be on Friends. Chris. No. I'll add Chris first, that might help. And we'll try and get the other 2 in. Played together, here we go. Nelly. I said to Rob just before this race, I said I might hear from one of you guys later on, and he laughed at me, but he definitely put in a good effort to try and get there. Evening, Chris.
Hello, sir.
I can't find. Oh, there's Mikey.
Have you got him? Yeah.
I can't add someone because of their settings. It might be Nelly. I've added Nelly, but one of them won't be able to join due to their settings.
Nelly and who?
Mikey. Yeah. Nelly joined. It might have been Mikey's settings.
Oh, but Mikey's a reserve, so it's whoever's P4 Scalmer.
Oh, I'll add Rob then.
Oh, Rob's on the podium.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so Mikey doesn't get the points, does he?
Okay, that makes sense. So, where is Rob? There he is. I guess we'll start with you then, Chris, quickly while we wait for the others. I guess, I mean, your pole time was brilliant, 7/10 on P2. You had a great start. Within the first 2 corners, you were over a couple of seconds in front. You pretty much just led the race. You had a 20-second gap. I guess the safety car didn't help you towards the end, but time penalties, when it dried up, didn't help either.
Yeah, so that's because I found it quite strange that the majority of the grid opted to a dry setup, honestly, with the conditions we were faced with. I went against the grain and chose to run. I was on maximum wings there, full downforce, which was clearly the way to go, like by a big margin. That's what allowed me, I think, to get the gap in qualifying. I could just be more committed in the corners. I think it was probably worth about half a second in the main straight, but I was putting 2 and 3 tenths on drivers in every single corner just because I could carry more speed.
Yeah, Mikey was catching you by about 6/10 down the straight, but after the first 2 corners, you were back half a second up on him.
Yeah, so that was the safety car stung. It kind of came out of nowhere. Of course, in that situation, I'm very comfortable. So when I'm running the high wing and it gets to the dry conditions, I'm very I'm trying to be as aggressive as possible because obviously I understand just how under pressure I am when it comes to how fast these guys are on the straight. That's why I really backed the pack up on the safety car restart and then launched really early to try and get myself the gap, because I knew if Mikey was even within a second of me off that last corner, he probably gets me into turn one and it's completely different.
Yeah, after the safety car restart, I think you had a 1.5 second gap back to him before the last corner. And I guess in the end, because he didn't get points, but the penalties, it kept you in first anyway, I guess. It wasn't too bad. Like you said, I think with that wetter setup, it just allowed you to pull out of corners.
Yeah.
But overall, though, pretty dominant throughout the entire race leading up to that. That was a very good effort in the end.
Thank you very much, sir. I did enjoy it. It was probably one of the best races I've done in the wet, of course. I think the gap is purely, like, that maybe glorified just how quick I was today. It was purely just the fact that I was running much more wing than others. It played the big difference, honestly.
I think it was. Yeah. But no, congratulations on
thank you, sir.
Another win, another podium. Nelly finished third in the end. Neck and neck with Rob. I guess it kind of come out of nowhere with the safety car as well for you. I guess it was a good thing that it come out. It allowed you to catch up with Mikey and Mataman and Pelly. I know Pelly had an incident on that. He put too much throttle down onto the last lap and went round, but I guess
it happened right in front of me.
Yeah, I guess you're pretty happy to get Rob though on the last lap. In the end.
I just said to Rob in chat, respect for giving me the space. Hallelujah for that safety car. I also saw the safety car incident. It was between Extremist and Surge. Yeah. I don't know whose fault it was. Probably
it's
Extremist.
On the
How dare he take my brother out? I'm going to hunt him down. But like, I mean, it was just that drive-through. It was like I was up like a second going into the chicane when it said safety car ending, and it just dropped like that. And like, I was still up by like 0.2, but it was going down, and it just switched so fast, and it went down exactly the time it said resume racing. So it was jarring because I did what Chris did. I did high downforce. I wasn't Chris speed, but I was probably easily the second quickest guy on the track today. On especially on the inters as well, but like, oh my god, it's really the fact that I got back up to third is good. But I saw all the penalties under the safety car, and I was like, crap, I could win. I saw Chris at 6 seconds. I was like, crap, I could win this. But like, you know, you got to take what you got to take in it. So second place now, second podium in a row. Just got to keep the consistency up. We'll wait and see. GG's to Chris. Still think it's unfair you're in the championship, but carry on. But like, he deserves everything he's done today. And GG. And I'm glad me and Rob got on the podium after all of that. Bit annoyed at the drive-through, but you know, what can you do?
Three of you actually got a drive-through. I think you, Adam, and Rage all got a drive-through. And it was quite Leighton even. Yeah, Leighton. Leighton and Adam and you, but it was quite tough because obviously you had your drive-through, and then the lap later you needed inters.
Yeah.
So it set you back a good 30-odd seconds.
It did, because that's a long pit lane, like for real. Like it's so long. But like, and I think I went to the mediums 1 lap too early. I was catching Surge and the Extremist like a second a lap, and then I was like down to like 2 seconds, and then when I pitted, came out like 8 seconds behind them. I was still catching them a second a lap after. Like, it was just like, just the safety car happened. You know, I'm grateful for it. But like, God can keep some. Basically, Imola and Miami are two big wheel tracks. So to come second and third in them on the pad, I can hold my head high in it. So, it's all good. It's all good. GG's to everyone.
Yeah, great effort for finishing second in the end as well.
Thanks,
and Rob, I told you I would be hearing from one of you or Matt tonight.
And it was me.
And it was you. Yeah, Matt had a shocker. I think 38 seconds of time penalties, 15 in the pit.
It all went horribly wrong.
Yeah, it did. I guess you're kind of happy as well that safety car come, because you're quite a distance back as well, and people with penalties in front of you, it just kind of gave you a podium in the end, I guess.
At the time it came out, no, I was fuming. I was happy where I was. There was nobody catching me behind. Nelly was too far. I think he'd got 2 or 3 cars between me and him, so he probably couldn't have caught me just because of the traffic in the way. And I was happy to sit 5th, thinking probably 4th with penalties. I was fine, and then that happened. I was like, oh, leave me alone. And then I realised that penalties ahead. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't that bad. And then Nelly came and ruined it.
Yeah, he got you on the last lap. I thought you'd have a bit of a run on him. I mean, if the line was 100 metres down the road, I think you might have caught him back, because you were catching him out of the last corner.
That's only because you were fighting with Jock, yeah.
Jock backed us up so much in it, but it was just all about ERS usage.
Yeah, I bolted me ERS quite early on restart to think I'd maybe get one of the cars ahead, but it just didn't work out. But to come third, I'm pretty impressed with that, to be honest. Because I had a boring race, but yet a race where I was behind Pelly by 1.3 seconds for all of the wet tyre stint and all of the inter tyre stint, and I was just like, I'm alone, but I can see the car ahead, but I just couldn't do anything, so I just sat there all race.
That's a great effort, though, from you to get third in the end, and you're probably very happy with that. You weren't expecting it, so...
Yeah, I'll take that first podium at season.
Hopefully you can carry that on to next week as well.
Yeah, I don't expect to. With Chris doing speed like that's just a joke. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he had a very, very good race.
Can I just point out that when I crossed the line, I was only 3/10 behind Chris.
Yeah, you were 3/10. Rob was 4.5, I think.
I think being backed up by Jock in that final corner, I think cost us both first and second.
Possibly, yeah, it did. But hey ho, never mind. The podium, I'll take that. Quite happy with that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Good effort, guys. Anyway, and it was a decent watch actually. I know Chris was winning by miles, and there was a lot of gaps, but even the end was a great effort from some of you guys. A couple stayed out on their mediums. Mikey did very well because he stayed out in his soft compound, and it kind of worked for him in the end. But for all 3 of you, that was a decent race in the end. Fastest lap went to Chris. That was pretty quick as well. Driver of the day from the comms box, I will give it to Chris. Not just for, I guess he takes second / the win, but it's just the way he drove in the wet and no one was anywhere near him. I think it's very well deserved by him today as well.
So, thank you very much.
That's all right, mate. I think we'll finish it there. Next week in this league, they are at Spain, so it might be another wet one there, possibly. I will be back on Wednesday for HOR. They're around Imola as well, so that's going to be a cracker, I think, with some of them guys. Obviously, Chris, you've shown some great pace, so I'm
on the rain.
probably going to see you somewhere near the front in that one as well, which will be good. But until then, see you later, guys.